Yeah. Woo. All right. Thank you.
This music.
Yeah.
This music is just the best. I mean, how does that not put you in a good mood?
Oh, yeah.
We need AK to write some lyrics to this to lead us into these people's pre-fight shows, which is what we're doing right now. We are about 45 minutes away from UFC 278 kicking off. And we're going to have some fun until the first punches are thrown, everybody. Welcome to the People's Pre-Fight Show. I am Mike Heck. Got a whole crew here. Jed Meshew joins us, the winningest player in the history of BTL, and the baddest stash in MMA media on the ones and twos, Casey Leydon.
And my man's got sleeves today.
Yeah.
Look at him.
Wow. Sleeves and a mustache brush.
Yeah, I got a mustache. No, I got to talk about this. I got this mustache comb, and I got it from Mr. Patrick Durkin
Nice.
Cummins, former UFC fighter, is now a little blacksmith, and hooked me
Oh,
up.
that's dope. We talked a lot about Pat Cummins on the latest episode of Damn, They Were Good.
Yes, some great stories. Great quote that Shad Al-Shadi read. I'm about maybe
That was
50
an
minutes into that episode.
Unbelievable quote.
What was it?
really
What was it?
was.
Tell me.
It was when Sean
yeah.
did the night they faced DC thing, and he had talked to Pat Cummins, and
Oh.
it was about their wrestling days. And Pat Cummins was like, you grow up hearing this hard work beats talent every time, and I got everything I did by working really hard. And then you run into somebody like DC, and you're like, that's a load of shit. I'm never beating that guy.
This is like a DC,
quote.
and the quote even added that he had like 0% body fat at the time when he was wrestling, because DC was like 184. So he's basically like a ripped up, shredded, prime athlete version of Daniel Cormier, which you can argue we never got to see in MMA. We got like the tail end, and he was still that freaking good. So
There was a shredded version of DC? I had no idea.
Yeah. How dude, college wrestling DC, when he was weighing 184, like that dude was built. And it was Sean and I were just talking before we recorded, and he told me that. I was like, all right, so we're putting that on the pod. I'm gonna find a place to put that quote on the pod.
So I don't,
Unbelievable stuff.
because it's been so long now, I can probably just say, I don't know if y'all talked about it on the show, but remember the whole thing about Pat was saying, oh, I made DC cry and all that stuff?
Yeah. We talked
That
about
was, oh, he did talk about it? What did he say?
Yeah.
Did he just,
Oh, I mean, it was just that
did
that
you just
wasn't...
tell the story? Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, it was just we talked about the whole Pat Cummins thing and how that was mostly a promotional fabrication.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say too,
Yeah.
because at the time, Pat was like this high level prospect in Southern California. He couldn't get fights. And essentially that was the kind of the handshake deal with the UFC. Just sell the fight with anything you got. And DC understood that too. Behind the scenes, there's just competitors. They weren't like hating each other, but they know they just had to sell the fight, and that was something he would have never said publicly, but like, oh, you got to get the fight. Yeah.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, DC just whipped his ass in every
Yeah.
active competitive setting they ever had.
Yeah.
He ran that
very
man
true.
off the mats every time they wrestled. So it's not like it was just a thing you do to sell a fight.
Yeah. It was
And he
insane.
did. They sold the fight.
And did they talk about the pushing at the press conference? Remember when DC and Pat pushed each other?
Oh, no, we didn't get into that.
Oh, I didn't even get to that.
no,
Total BS. Total BS.
of course.
I mean, you
Well,
watched
DC knows how to promote.
Yeah. They were like, all right.
Well,
all right.
we will see Daniel Cormier tonight, just not in an active fighting role. He will be part of the broadcast booth with John Anik and Joe Rogan. Patrick Cummins will probably be watching the card at home and with all of you. Not like literally in the same room, but you will probably be doing the same thing. So let's get to your questions. This is your show until...
I want to put a question in now. How do I do that?
All right, here we
fight
go.
begins. You're going to put your own question in?
I am.
Okay, we got some
That's
troll
a
name.
test.
Jed Meshew. Yeah, that's not even a real name. Here we go.
Jed
First question.
Meshew. Do you guys think the BKFC event was rigged for Mike Perry? So we were actually talking about this before we hit record, and I figured we'd get a question about it. But if I'm Michael Venom Page, Jed, and I'll let you respond to this. If I'm Michael Venom Page, I am not even running a 5K in London anymore, because there might be some traps or some sort of hole that's dug into the ground that's covered with grass that he would just fall through. I just feel like he's getting the short end of the stick every time he fights in London, and he should have won this fight. He got screwed.
Oh, yeah.
He got screwed by the fact
Robbery.
that you can argue twice that he didn't get knockdowns that he should have, but one, of course, this fight should not have been a split draw. Yeah, it's a bunch of BS. I mean, it was a good fight. Congratulations to Mike Perry, but MVP got the hose job in my eyes.
I mean, he for sure did. I just have zero sympathy for him. Like, I don't, in part because, like, yes, he got screwed, but he allowed himself to be in a position to be screwed, if that makes any sense. Like, I mean, he said afterwards that he think he underestimated Perry. He very obviously, at the minimum, underestimated Mike Perry. And, you know, you could say that it's all promotion, but they were on the MMA Hour Grit program earlier this week, and he was just very dismissive of Mike Perry, not without cause. And then he gets in there and just, like, can't fight him. Like, Mike, like, yes, absolutely, MVP got robbed. Like, there's zero question about it. He also got knocked down by Mike freaking Perry, man. Like, that's on you.
Yeah, first round.
First round. That is on you, my guy. Like, and he still had a chance to going into the 6th round that they shouldn't have had to do to win. Dude was gassed. Like, he had nothing left in the tank. And again, that's on him. Like, he got screwed at the end of the day. That's the big fault. But, like, I don't know. You also, to some extent, you make your own luck. And we say that on the good end of things all the time. You know, this guy, he kept trying forever. And Michael Bisping made his own luck by just never quitting. MVP made his own bad luck by not doing any damage to Logan Storley and to fighting like that against Mike Perry. Like, that's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes.
Did MVP, did he break his hands or anything? Or did he seem fine?
I have no idea. Mike Perry's jaw is for sure busted at least in one place. Like, they could have stopped the fight just off that. Like, Mike Perry was very clearly mangled up from that.
Well, cool. It happened, and now
awesome. It's over.
Until
we get the rematch, because you know that BKFC is going to try to book a rematch here. But of course, Mike Perry did exactly what he should have done when he got the microphone in his face and he called out Jake Paul. That's exactly what he should have done. So good on him.
Yeah, that's not impossible. I mean, you won't get that fight now, but that could happen at some point.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go to Mr. Joseph Boza.
We never hear from him on these shows, ever.
This Joey B.
Is the co-main event being overlooked? Oh, boy.
No.
The rest of this question better save this. Yes. We should be talking about how Luke Rockhold, who has lost 3 of his last 4, got a top 10 guy, 6 in the official rankings, is returned to 185, but we aren't. This is the most unoverlooked fight on the entire card. This fight is the most anticipated fight by all stretches of the imagination. All analytics for this fight week will tell you that by a wide margin, this is the most intriguing matchup on the entire card. I don't think it's being overlooked at all.
It's the opposite. This is too much look. What's the opposite of overlooked? I don't even know.
Underlooked? This is underlooked.
This is underlooked. This fight is underlooked.
Also, Joe, I know you're around a lot and we want to respect you, but I don't know where you're getting 6 in the official rankings. I've got them pulled up right here at MMAfighting.com. Great website. And Paulo Costa is number 10 in the rankings. So yeah, he's barely getting a top 10 guy. He's a former champion who, that's pretty reasonable, honestly, for a former champion returning.
It's the last fight on Costa's deal, and
Costa's on a 2-fight losing streak. This is like a very reasonable matchup.
So is Luke Rockhold. Yes,
yeah,
100%.
Very reasonable matchup.
And even bigger than that is the extremely high stakes for Luke Rockhold. If he wins this, there is a gosh darn good chance
he's getting the next title fight.
He's a title shot. As long as Izzy does his thing at Pereira, he is fighting for the title. So this fight is extremely high stakes.
I think he's getting a title fight regardless. If Pereira wins, they're not. He's going to get that title fight too.
Oh, either way, you're right.
Yeah. I think if he wins, he's just getting a title fight. I think.
Yeah. I mean,
it's going to be super fun in the aftermath, no matter what happens, because if Rockhold wins, he's going to dump on the UFC even more. And then he's going to get a title fight. And if Costa wins, he's going to be just the most entertaining free agent we have ever seen. And I can't wait to see him go back and forth with the UFC. It's going to be a ton of fun.
I've been talking about this offline and on some of these shows. An Alex Pereira versus Luke Rockhold middleweight title fight makes me really, really happy. Because, like, boy, if either that has two possible outcomes and both of them are horrifically violent. Like, either Alex Pereira just kills him or Luke gets a takedown and just kills him. Like, there's no in between in that fight, which is awesome.
Yep.
Are you guys surprised that Luke Rockhold being out this long, it's still, I don't want to say he's a fan favorite, but he still moves that needle? I'm a bit surprised, but are you? Or is it maybe just his scrums and him just someone?
I think a lot of it's what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, to some extent, he's still like a needle mover just because he was a champion. He's a very handsome man. He's done other famous people things. But yeah, I mostly attribute it to that. Like, I feel like if he was just coming back and talking about Costa, certainly wouldn't have the energy I think that's going on this week. But him going at Dana and the UFC feels like it's given this fight a lot of juice.
Yeah, right. Just like what the Ferguson Chandler fight in Phoenix. Ferguson went up to media day, did the press conference, and he was the star. He was the star of the week, and that's kind of what Luke Rockhold has become as well. Plus, he brings the dog to everything, which certainly doesn't hurt.
Great move.
And I think and I also think Luke's just a guy that, you know, at least for fans of the sport for a long time. I'm not talking about like the casuals or casual fans or newer fans who have actually never. There's probably a good chunk of people watching this pay-per-view tonight who have never watched Luke Rockhold fight ever. So that's going to be interesting. But for those who have watched Luke Rockhold fight for all these years since Strikeforce, early UFC when he became the champion, the expectations for this guy were beyond belief. And we all thought he'd reach those expectations, but never defended the title. He's lost 3 out of 4. He lost to Michael Bisping in a fight that it's just unbelievable.
He wins 19 out of 20 times, and that night showed up. Yeah,
funniest fight I think in the history of the sport. Genuinely, that's the funniest
and me, Ariel, and Esther all heard that fight from outside the forum.
Oh yeah. Oh man, I forgot all about that
night.
That was the same night. That was the same night. I remember us being in the parking lot and like we heard the roar and we're like, whoa, something happened. And like we're like, well, we better get out of here before traffic starts.
Something did happen.
Something did happen. And like, so we're walking in the car and Ariel goes like, holy shit. You know, it's like, and like, wow, all right, let's get home and watch the press conference, I guess.
You guys remember when everyone was convinced that we were about to have an epic trilogy of Rockhold Weidman middleweight title fights, and then that just vanished? Because I thought those two dudes were going to fight like 6 times. It's like, yeah, they're just the best guys. They're going to fight each other 1,000,000 times. It's going to be awesome. And it almost immediately was not that way.
That was a violent finish in that first fight, like real violent.
Wait, which fight are we talking? Rockhold Weidman?
The Weidman one. Yeah, Rockhold.
Oh yeah.
Once the spin kick was missed by Chris Weidman, which I still can't believe.
That was the end of the fight. It was the end of the fight. He channeled his inner Chael Sonnen and got murdered.
Got obliterated. Yeah. So we'll see what happens. I mean, there's a lot of people who are like, Luke Rockhold's no chance to win this fight. He absolutely has a chance to win this fight.
If he gets takedown, he wins the fight.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
If he gets takedown, he wins the fight. That's every Luke Rockhold fight.
Yeah. Yeah.
He is, I've said it a bunch this week, he's the most predatory offensive grappler I've ever seen in the sport.
Years ago, before Luke was the champion, he was this kind of upcoming prospect at AKA. This is back when I was actually good friends of Jason Mayhem Miller before he became All Mayhem. But we went up to AKA, and at the time, Mayhem was, I think he was training for Bisping at the time. It was that fight he eventually lost. But he rolled with Luke Rockhold.
It was a tough fight.
Yeah.
They were tough coaches.
Yeah. and he rolled with Luke Rockhold, and he didn't really know him. He didn't know him that much. You know, every fighter they don't really they don't really blow up their competition like, oh, that guy's awesome. But I remember after the rounds, Jason comes up to me and goes like, dude, that guy's really good. It's like, and Jason was like a really good grappler and a wrestler, and I was like, all right, I guess we should pay attention to this guy. And Hav and I remember Hav and actually Kane were talking to me too. They're like, this guy is gonna be super good, and unfortunately injuries and all the other stuff. But dude, if Luke Rocco shows up tonight, man, it changes a lot in the middleweight division. I think in just price in just our coverage in general. Just Luke is such a a dominant person right now. If he can win tonight big, it's gonna be very interesting.
Yep.
Yeah. Dude, he would be like a BJJ world champion if he had just done that instead. Like, I feel really comfortable saying that. Like, he's an unbelievable grappler. I mean, he won gold in like purple belt or whatever. Like, if he just stuck with that, like he could have easily done that. Dude's unbelievable on the ground. And if he gets takedown, he's gonna absolutely throttle Paulo Costa.
All right.
So maybe Costa will throw a stupid spin kick.
Fingers crossed.
Oh my God, are you kidding me?
It would be the funniest outcome. I would love it so
definitely
much.
Wow.
I can't believe I'm a fan of Paulo Costa now. I mean, actually, everything about him I think is kind of hilarious. I don't know. I mean,
he is. I don't know if he's in on the joke or not, but he's incredibly funny.
Like, dude, his scrum or not scrum, I don't know, some like side by side Zoom interview he did when he's fighting Marvin Vettori, and when Vettori said something about like, you're not gonna make weight, it's like it's 185 or 186, and Costa just says, well, that's your problem. I was like, yeah.
I mean, he's not wrong.
That's not my problem.
It's true. It's true.
I was just like, oh my God, I love him. Like, this guy's my favorite fighter now. All right. Apparently there's some.
Thank you, Joseph.
Yeah, thank you. This fight is underlooked.
Underlooked.
All right. Here we go.
If Nate Diaz beats Khamzat Chimaev somehow, does he stay with the UFC? No.
God, no. Are you kidding?
I'm not saying he could come back.
Why would he?
His next fight will not be in the UFC. There's no doubt.
He's going to go fight Jake Paul. He's going to make all the money fight. He's going to make a lot of money fighting Jake Paul anyway. But if he does it coming off a Khamzat win, he's making all the money. Why would he possibly take whatever meager offerings the UFC would give?
Man, I think even if the UFC could match what Jake Paul MVP Promotions or Showtime, even if UFC could match it, I still think no way he comes back. Right? No. Like they would have to double. Next. They would have to double what Jake Paul. Yeah. Jake Paul MVP. I don't want to say MVP Promotions. It sounds confusing with MVP, but MVP Promotions. The UFC would have to at least double it, at least for Nate Diaz to even kind of think about coming back. But that somehow is very big. It should be in the question.
Huge somehow. But if he does, it would be incredible.
But here's also a thing that people who are have not totally watched the Nate Diaz saga over the last 6 years. Nate doesn't have to win. Nate just needs one moment. In that fight. Just one. He just needs to land one like solid right hand that has Khamzat just taking a step backwards, and that's all he needs, and his stock will rise. That's it.
It's magic, right? I mean, like he beat Leon Edwards.
He'll go to the press conference and say, "Hey, in a street fight, I won," and everyone will believe him, and that's it. And then he'll go off and box Jake Paul and make tons of money.
Because he is one of the best prize fighters. Nate Diaz and Conor are just extremely good prize fighters because they don't have to win.
They're way better at it than most people.
Yeah, because they don't have to win. If you're the best prize fighters don't actually have to win fights.
Yeah, and they don't have to rush back into the octagon to fight. They could sit out for 5 more years before he fights, and he'll be just fine. Fine.
All right. What else we got here? Let's go down. Sorry if I skipped your questions. Throw them in again, guys. Sorry. Here we go.
Do you think Adesanya would have done the same thing if Usman is the next champ in the process of being double champ? So I think he's saying like if Usman was like if Adesanya was the welterweight champion and Usman was the middleweight champion, would Adesanya say I'm going to go to 205 or would he say I'm going to go to 185?
I think say the
Or
same.
say Usman was a 205er. Would Izzy go to heavyweight? I guess something like that. Same thing.
I mean,
yeah.
almost certainly, because Izzy's already said that he kind of wants to go to heavyweight at some point. So like,
Yeah.
But I also just think he would. I think they just don't want to fight each other, which is fine and respectable.
Yeah, just don't want to. Not worth it. Not enough money for the UFC to throw at them. I think.
I think Izzy wins that fight. By the way,
At 85.
I feel pretty good about Izzy winning that fight at 85. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
That'd be interesting.
I think so too. Oh, here we go. It's just look. Can we talk a little PFL? I haven't seen anything from PFL. How was it?
Your guess is as good as mine. I'm gonna assume that Kayla Harrison won a first round submission.
Yes.
Could be a TKO. But first round win over who's like I want to say Werner Janjiroba, but I know it's not Werner Janjiroba. But it's something like that, isn't it? Let me go to MMAfighting.com, great website, and figure out what happened here.
Kayla's just fucking up strawweights.
Guess what? How about we play a game of guess who?
Martina Jindrova. That's close.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
that's
close.
I was in the neighborhood.
Who's she gonna fight in the finals, Jed?
Oh, Pacheco. Pacheco was always going to beat Kolesnik. Like that was just always. Didn't she already beat her?
Yeah, she viciously knocked her out last year.
Yeah, she did the same this year. So
yeah,
I'm really interested why the UFC has never gone after Pacheco has a 45er to someone because Pacheco's good.
Oh, pick me! I know the answer.
I know the answer too.
It's not a real weight class.
I know.
They don't believe that that's a real weight class. They've technically had it for like 3 years, and they have never put up rankings for it. But yes, I agree. I think Larissa Pacheco is actually very good at fist fighting people and deserves a lot more credit than she gets. But her lot in life is just to get beat up by Kayla Harrison every year.
Yeah,
which is unfortunate.
She's like the Joseph Benavidez of 155 women. She's like just it's the second best, but you have Kayla Harrison.
I think Pacheco Cyborg would be fun as hell. I don't know if they would. I know they're both Brazilian. I have no idea if they're connected in any regard, but
that would be a good.
That'd be a fun as hell fight.
Yeah.
And then Kayla anointed herself the queen of MMA, and she said if anybody doesn't believe her, there's 3 Brazilians who have their track shoes on that keep running away from her. Which
I don't know who
really
the third
love
is.
that line at all. Yeah, I don't know.
That's fine.
She's talking about Pacheco. I don't know.
It can't be Pacheco because she's gonna fight.
Fought her. I know.
She's also gonna fight her again. Twice. Also, I just don't think she would say that because when I talked to her in Atlanta, she was extremely complimentary of Larissa Pacheco. She's like, she's very good at fighting. So
it's a good question.
I have no idea.
And she's
maybe it's Jessica Andrade.
She gave Kayla a tough fight. It wasn't like she didn't.
She went 2 of Kayla's decisions are against Pacheco.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, she's just not as good as Kayla, but she's a quality
she's not an
fighter.
Olympic. Yeah, she's a very solid 145er.
Yeah.
The only fight I actually watched, because I was flipping back and forth between the BMW Golf Championship and PFL, the only one I watched for more than 12 seconds was the Brandon Loughnane Chris Wade fight, which is pretty good. And Loughnane looked.
That fight was fun. I was watching that one.
Yeah, Loughnane looked awesome and won. Unanimous decision, swept the scorecards. Yeah.
Was that 3 rounds? It was 3 rounds, right?
3 rounds.
Brendan Loughnane, Shane Burgos next year is going to be super fun.
3 rounds for the semifinals of their $1 million tournament is just so dumb.
Yeah,
I don't think it would. I don't think it tangibly affected. I think Loughnane was just tuning weight up, but it's still just so dumb. It's still just so dumb.
What are the odds, Joe? Yeah, he was.
I'm looking at the results right now.
What are the odds Jose Aldo retires with a loss, Jed? You are.
Oh no,
you're the guy.
Moot
you're the president
point.
of the Jose Aldo fan club.
It's a moot point. He's going to win, so I don't know why we're talking hypotheticals about some stuff that'll never happen. What if pigs flies? Yeah, that'd be cool. I love bacon that can be delivered straight to my door, but that's just not what's going to happen here. Jose Aldo's going to win. Book it.
All right.
And the pigs fly off chance that Jose Aldo loses badly, he doesn't retire.
It seems unlikely that he wants to retire. He seems like he just wants to keep fist fighting people, and I'm okay with that.
The last time Jose Aldo lost a 3-round fight, he got a title shot. So,
yeah, it's because he didn't really lose that fight.
That's
mean, like
true.
officially he did, but like if you have eyeballs, he didn't. Because he's Jose freaking Aldo.
That's right. I would say no as well.
All right. All right.
God, I hope not.
What is up with this main card tonight? The first 2 fights of the main card are nothing to pay money for. It doesn't matter. You're paying for.
I think that's also wrong.
3 fights.
Yeah. That's also wrong. Like, I mean, it depends. Everyone knows I am not a guy who's going to blow smoke up your asses about the quality of a card. But objectively, Pedro Hunsucker is going to be really violent and very fast. So, like, if that's what you're into, which all of us are at least kind of into cool knockouts, and that's probably what's going to happen here, that's at least fun. And I get it. Wu Padalova is not a high-end fight. That fight is going to be very, very fun. Like, that fight is going to objectively be really fun to watch because neither woman is great defensively, and they are both high octane, going to push the pressure. Like, that's going to be a really fun fight. I do think it's dumb. I would have preferred Romanov Tybura because that fight has a lot more stakes to it, but I get why they've done this. Like, they're not high-end fights, but they're both going to be entertaining, and you're paying for the main event, which is a plus fighting.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. Like, I understand what this Zach Brown, this football player, is saying here, but in the day, when the fights are done with, we always go, was that card entertaining? Was that card entertaining? We don't go, did that card have stakes? It's always, was that card entertaining? And you're right, Jed. Those first 2 fights on the pay-per-view are not pay-per-view worthy fights. These are not fights we want to pay money for, but they will be slobber knockers, and there's a reason UFC put them out there. Because they just want to make sure.
The first fight's going to be over in 2 minutes in violent fashion. The second fight's going to be a back and forth battle that's going to go to the cards, and we're going to be like, this could go either way. It's just who dug a little deeper in the 3rd round. It's not one we're going to like go back and watch again, but it's one that's going to be a good battle that leads into freaking Jose Aldo versus Merab Dvalishvili. There's no way the last 3 fights don't deliver, at least in some way, because of the stakes and who's involved in them. So, yeah, we just got to deal with a quick finish and a 15-minute battle at 135, and then we get to the three big ones. I expect the prelims to have a lot of finishes, a lot of fun.
I think I've predicted a number of them.
Yeah, and I think Alexander Romanov is going to brutally finish Marcin Tybura tonight. And, yeah.
Look, Zach, I'll just tell you, Zach, straight up. If you don't want to pay for it, I can't fault you for it. Like, $75 is a lot of damn money. And if you want to pick and choose your spots, totally reasonable. Fortunately, it's a great website. It's called MMAfighting.com. MMAfighting.com. If you go there,
let me bookmark that.
We're going to be doing live blogs. In fact, I'm going to be doing live blogs. So it'll be basically like you're watching it. Vivid descriptions of the violence going on. And then if you stick around, maybe some highlights if you're doing something else, we'll give you a full comprehensive breakdown before and after. So MMAfighting.com, great website.
Speaking of buying pay-per-views, what do you guys think about this?
Do you think they should charge different prices for different pay-per-views?
Boxing does.
Theoretically, yes. I don't like the idea for substantive reasons, but like, yes. I don't like them doing that because like the one time we can feel marginally good about fighters getting money for enduring brain damage is they are theoretically getting pay-per-view points, and they are essentially getting a portion of the dollars spent.
But there was only one fighter on this card earning any money off the pay-per-view, extra money, right? Only one fighter, correct?
Correct. But if they instead mark this down to $50 or whatever, that is just taking money away from Kamaru Usman. Like, that's all that is going to do, which I'm not interested in doing, even if it means enriching the UFC a little more. But like the core concept, I'm cool with. I also just don't like it as a negotiation tactic for the UFC to be like, all right, cool. Well, this champion Francis Ngannou's being kind of an ass right now about fighter pay, so we're going to make his pay-per-views $4. Good luck making any money on that, asshole. And like that's just it's giving another lever to the UFC to pull. Like, and they already have so much control over fighters. Just a flat fee seems fine to me.
Okay.
But like in general, I'm not opposed to this idea at all.
Yeah. UFC doesn't seem to have an issue going up on the price. I don't think they'll.
Oh no, yeah. I don't this will also just never happen. They're not gonna be like, $20 for this one.
How many pay-per-views?
Doesn't matter.
It's far more likely that we will get fight night events that are like $20 fight night pay-per-views in a couple of years. They'll just be like, we can do that to leverage more money out of our fan base.
Wow. You're a jerk for even suggesting that, but yeah.
Totally a thing that's probably going to happen in the next 2 years.
Yeah, like
yeah.
five,
ESPN
like $5
went up again.
Yeah, like $5. Yeah.
So like, all right, this fight night,
you're paying. Yeah, you're already paying for them. You're already paying for fight night cards. You have to pay $10 a month to watch fight night cards, which is, at the end of the day, they're going to add on top of it.
Because you're doing that for pay-per-views. Because you cannot buy a pay-per-view if you don't pay the $10 a month to have ESPN Plus. Like, you have to do that. So like they're just gonna some enterprising young individual is gonna be like, hey, this is a really good fight night that's headlined by like, I don't even know what upcoming fight nights are that I would think, but like somebody that people like.
Romanov versus Curtis Blades.
God, no. But yeah, no, they could do it for the Paris one. Just be like, this is UFC Paris. It's a big one.
Gone versus Romanov.
It's not on ESPN because they've got whatever going on. So this is on ESPN Plus, and we're gonna give it a $5 pay-per-view on this one. And then Dana will come out and say Cyril Gane gets $1 for every 20 pay-per-views sold. And if you don't buy it, you hate MMA. And then that's where we'll be.
I don't know why I put that question up.
It's just a bummer.
Yeah.
It's just a downer.
All right, what else we got? How many times can Jed say objectively in a segment? It's so many.
I mean,
next. Yeah, that's
objectively. I can say it many, many times.
Yeah.
Could have easily dropped 2 there.
What's your go-to thing, Heck? Like when you listen to any recordings, you're like, man, I say that way too much. Like just like a certain phrase, you have one of those. You just realize. I think
my biggest crutch is I don't think there's like a specific phrase that I say. I probably say obviously a little too much, but sometimes I'll repeat a point like a second time, just like the last couple words of it. Like if I say
somebody else on this website does that a lot.
Yeah. Well, when
I will not throw out names, but somebody
if I make a point, and I'll be like, "What the UFC's doing this, and it means this," and I'll be like, "It is." It just like say that for some reason. like the UFC is doing this. They are. Like I'll say that. That's probably my biggest crutch. Is like I have to put the exclamation point on a point by just saying 2 words a second time. But that's probably my biggest crush.
Oh man, re-listening.
We've all got them.
Yeah, we all.
Yeah, because I do these shows like I would like if we were all just sitting at a bar just getting ready to watch a card and we weren't working, I would talk the exact same way. It'd be the exact same thing. It is. That was a made up one, but
yeah, when you're on camera this much, you're just gonna have some of those.
Yeah.
If Leon upsets Kamaru with the KO finish, where would you put it as far as all-time upsets? Top 20?
Yeah, top 20 is just such a big number. Yeah. I don't think it's top 5.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised. I'm not saying I won't be surprised.
What a magnificent upset. My mind is blown. It wouldn't be like Matt. It's nowhere near Sarah. It's nowhere near Juliana Pena. It's...
Because Leon Edwards is a legit contender. He is a legit contender who legitimately earned this shot. And,
this would be Weidman. Yeah. This would be Weidman beating Anderson Silva. This is what it would be. I would compare.
Yeah, that's a really good comp.
After the fact,
I'm picking Leon Edwards. Just by the way, pulled the trigger on it. I'm doing it.
What is this?
Oh, all right. I love it. So your official MMA fighting staff pick is Leon Edwards.
It is.
I freaking love it, dude. That's just smart playing right there because you're probably gonna be the only one, and that's just
I guess have to assume I'm the only one. I've been thinking about it for weeks, and I'm still not sure it's right, but it's what I'm going. It's what my heart wants.
Yeah.
Because then Leon can't be mad at me for just running him down for the last year and a half.
Yeah.
I picked him.
I love it. Hey, a lot of
Cover
I'm
your
telling you,
bases.
a lot of people picking Leon. A lot. I've been stunned. Like Heck of a Morning has
I
it's
wish
been a
they
week full of
weren't.
people picking Leon. Yeah.
I wish they weren't. That makes me the least confident in picking him. Is that so many other people on it? And I'm like, oh, this might just be me being too clever by half, right? Like that's if a bunch of other people are also being too clever, we're all probably just idiots, but it's where I'm at.
You didn't pick Pena for the rematch, right? Versus
No,
Nunes?
God,
No. Yeah.
No. I thought she was winning for a very specific reason, and mostly also it was a joke, just a big joke. And I was very confident that this was going to beat the hell out of her in the rematch.
Yeah, the rematch basically went how everyone thought the first match was.
The first one would go, yeah.
Yeah,
I will say that I still think Pena outperformed my expectations for her in the rematch.
And
she's just stupid tough, man. Like that's all it is. She is dumb tough, and that's really bad for Amanda Nunes to have to fight. It's very difficult for her to fight someone that she just can't run right over.
Yeah. It's like who's? Yeah, I was going to kind of compare to Marvin Vettori, just dumb tough. Like,
oh yeah, they're the same.
I know that. Yeah,
very very similar. I had a whole thing on No Bets Barred one week about how middleweight is just a series of Marvin Vettoris. Just various. Sean Strickland is like poor man's Marvin Vettori, and it was just a whole thing on that premise. It's a great strategy. Works very well.
It is. It's true.
Do you think this is my own question, real quick? But do you think anything like above 170, like 185, 205, could ever be the best division? Not the most profitable division.
No,
but you know what I'm trying to say?
Like
not anymore.
It can't. I don't think it ever could have been.
Okay, I don't think so either.
Yeah.
I just
maybe like at the very beginning of fist fighting, when if you weren't 200 pounds, there was no reason for you to fist fight someone because you would lose. But like, no, if you weigh 200 pounds and are athletic, you will play a better sport. That's just it.
That's pretty much it, and that's why it always comes down to money. Basically, that's why the heavyweights, you're never like any halfway decent athletic heavyweight is going to be a top 10 guy after like 3 years of training.
Yeah, dude, that's why I was so convinced that Greg Hardy would be good at some point, because like he is a super athlete, and that's just it. Like, this is very disparaging, and I don't feel bad about it because of me. Marcin Tybura would get laughed out of any major sport. Like, you would just be like, no, you can't play with us. That's just how it goes. And it stays top 10 heavyweight. Like, that's because and fist fighting and other sports aren't like a 1-to-1, but it's the same for anything. Like, it's an incentive structure. And if you are big and athletic, you can make a lot more money doing other things than getting your head stove in for 15 and 15 or whatever the hell the starting contract is now.
I mean, a great example is to me like Jose Aldo. If Jose Aldo was 6 feet tall, he would be playing professional soccer right now.
Oh yeah, for sure. He would not be fist fighting people.
Absolutely not. But the man was 5'6" or whatever, so he is a fist fighter. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just how it goes. Like, there are, I mean, outside of just the general fact that there are a lot more human beings who walk around between the weights of 150 and 185 pounds or whatever. So there's a bigger talent pool in general. Any of those people probably aren't pro athletes in other sports because you can't be, or like you have to be really unbelievably good. Yeah. Like, it's just how it goes.
Betting question.
Although it's clearly the right side to bet regardless of outcome, but which of these underdogs do you think also has the best value? Da Silva, Losa, Santos.
Let me look at the current lines. Let me look at the current lines right now. Da Silva, Losa, or Santos.
I feel like Losa's my pick. Because because I think
that's probably the right
experience-wise, they're
pick.
right around the same. Yeah.
I think that's probably the right pick. Part of my heart wants to say it's Leonardo Santos because I think he is a better quote unquote fighter than Jared Gordon, but he's also 100, so I can't bet him. Like
And he
he's
had
so old.
and that weight cut looked. I don't know if you saw the weight cut
Yeah.
footage. He looked really
Yeah,
He
like
bad.
looked
he's
rough.
like I'm not gonna bet on I'm not what is he like 43? He's in
42.
his
he's up there.
40s and had a hard weight cut. I can't bet on him, but like
Yeah, and
this fight
a
happened
lightweight division, that's like
Yeah.
dog years times 7. So he's like
Yeah.
190 years
If
old.
he was 10 years younger, I would pick him to straight up beat Jared Gordon. Like so I think Losa is probably the best one. I won't pretend to really have any vibes on the Daniel De Silva Altamirano fight. Like I'm betting the under because flyweight unders they never lose. But that's all I got on that.
I think both those flyweight unders are gonna hit.
I hope so because I parlayed them up.
Oh, you did? Good for you.
I mean, you have to. I'm living the gimmick. There's one thing about me, Mike.
Singles too?
I will live the gimmick.
Did you singles and a parlay?
I did. Singles and a parlay.
My man.
I stick with a joke, and this is a good one. It's working for us.
And then are you doing heavyweight over, right? Heavyweight over is the other one.
I'm experimenting with the heavyweight over, which I think is going to do well because I think Tabora is going to be tough for a little while, and that's all I need.
Yeah.
Has anyone rolled through Tabor? No, he's lost, but no one's just kind of.
No one's like.
Somebody TKO'd him.
Derek Lewis finished him.
Oh yeah, wasn't that late though in a fight that Lewis was losing?
Yeah,
it was still it was competitive till it wasn't.
You know who was? You know who bolted him was Augusto Sakai. Absolutely ran him over.
Augusto Sakai is terrible.
Yeah, that was just a heavyweight thing. That's just a
And Chimaev. Now I'm looking at it, and before that, Shamil Abdurrahimov finished him in the second round. So basically, he lost 4 or 5 at one point. He lost a decision of Verdum, knocked out by Derek Lewis. He beat Stefan Struve, got finished by Abdurahimov, and then got finished in 59 seconds by Augusto Sakai. And then he went on the winning streak and lost to Alexander Volkov. I think Romanov is just going to throw him over his head like 5 times, almost submit him in the first, and then he's just going to do some clubbing, like some standing running hammer fist type deal and knock Tybura down, and then he's just going to like put his forearm on his throat and tap him.
I'm going big man sub. I think he's going to big man sub Tybura. It's that like a forearm choke or like an Americana, just one of those things. Like I don't really care if you're I don't care if you're a BJJ black belt. I am huge and swollen on top of you.
Yeah, I'll just crush you. Yeah, I have submission round 1. Do you agree putting this on the prelims? I'm big on card placement. I think it matters.
I liked it better when it was on the main card. I understand having it in this spot, but I think it was better when it was swapped.
What I think the UFC did was they kind of dug deep and they were like, I think we have something with this Romanov guy, and I want everybody to watch this guy fight. And more people are going to watch that fight than the pay-per-view.
I would like that.
I get what you're saying, but
they need to promote that is the thing, because it wouldn't be hard to like you promote the main event and the marquee fights, but also like you can promote your free fights as well. Like that can be like, and the prelim main event, like it would not take that much to add
just
that.
In a weird way.
I haven't seen anything.
Like I've been watching like all different sports today, and something about that fight or what they're doing is from 9
if they're promoting it, that's great then.
Yeah, but they're promoting it in different ways. They're promoting the fight in some avenues, and then the other avenue, they're promoting the freaking Rob Gronkowski watch along on ESPN with him and his family. It's the Gronkowskis and freaking Kevin Holland watching the last hour.
I remember seeing that Kevin Holland was doing that. Okay.
And people are going to watch. They're going to get casual fans.
People are going to watch that more than they're going to watch like the regular thing for sure.
Yeah. More people, like they're going to get a lot of casual viewership tonight because of the Gronkowski thing. So it's actually really smart.
That is.
Yeah. I mean, I am so out of touch with the casual fan base, so I really don't have an answer. I'm just Just more curious.
The UFC, you have to. We just once you learn, and I learned this lesson like 3 years ago. The UFC is not promoting anything for you or me or Jed or anybody else because they have us.
They've never done
everything
that
they do.
me.
Yeah, all their partnerships, media wise, it's with it's with conglomerates that will bring in a casual audience. That's why he does.
Why do you think that full sin guy?
And it's smart. It's super smart. It's super smart on the UFC's part to partner with both of them because you're bringing in people to get into the sport for the first time ever. You're not going to stick, but their plan is for those people to not watch Full Send and Barstool MMA coverage for more than like 6 months. They want you to just get in the door, and then eventually people are going to realize, like, okay, I understand. Like, we're into the sport now, but we're not getting much more out of this in terms of like learning the ins and outs and breaking down fights. So now we'll go over to MMA Fighting, as Jed says, great website. And that's what they do.
It's true. It's very true.
Barstool and Full Send are the first girlfriends. So you're dating the popular girl in high school. You're like, wow, I can't believe this is happening. This is really cool. I'm learning a lot. And then you realize, like, this wasn't the one for you, but like you like dating people and now you're learning more.
Like, look at this question right here.
Other things.
Like this question right here. Would anyone who watches Full Send, whatever that is, would they even understand any of this in this question? Like the Silva Nusa,
they'd be like, who's a loser?
They might know Aldo.
Yeah, they might know Aldo. Yeah.
Aldo is the only one they might know.
Yeah.
And I would not bet that they would.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just
it's interesting, and I'm very very ignorant about that whole side of sports.
Yeah, it's just, and that's why
Rob Gronkowski is very popular, and people are going to tune in for that.
Was he a Patriot?
He sure was a Patriot.
Was he the guy who just did funny stuff all the time? He was like a funny guy, right?
He's like a frat dude that was just like randomly knock on your door and drink beers with your friends. Yeah.
Okay. I have heard of that guy. I have heard of him. Yeah.
You've definitely heard of Rob Gronkowski.
And his whole family is exactly the same. So it's just going to be a bunch of them. Even like his dad is like that. And then Kevin Holland's going to be watching fights with them too, which is going to be it's just going to be hilarious. All right, we'll take a couple more, and then we'll go to our boat. Then we'll play our fun games before we get out of here. The broadcast has begun.
I've never thought of this.
Yeah. Oh, does the phrase "taking the deep waters" annoy you guys?
I never once thought
Rogan.
About it.
Wow,
it's
Rogan.
Overused,
Rogan's crushing the black tie, and he's got like 3 buttons undone. Like this is tax season. Rogan's tie and
buttons undone.
It's like the tie knot is like
now I must see
down here. It's very cool, very Rogan. He looks like
Rogan of ties.
He looks like it's April. He's April 15th at the local accounting office, just burnt out, tie down to his nips. That's what he looks like. Good for him.
What do we think about Dana White tucking his shirt in all the time now?
I don't know. He must be on a diet or something and wants everybody to know.
It looks so bad. All right. All right. A couple more. Oh, where are we at in the broadcast? I just added.
We're good. They just started. They literally just started.
All right.
So.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, why am I watching
Jed Meshew on the juice? Jed, are you on the juice?
That's Hef Meshew, by the way. No, I would love to take steroids. I actually have considered pitching that as a ongoing series because I don't care about steroids. I have no issues with them whatsoever. I've made my stance on that very clear. And I think it would just be cool to take juice. Problem is, I know you might love to clang and bang. I don't. I do it because I feel compelled to do it, but I hate every minute of lifting a heavy object and putting it back down.
I freaking love it.
I love training. So I love training. I love kickboxing. I love jiu-jitsu. I don't even mind running anymore. I used to not be a big one, but like it's not a huge issue for me, but like I just can't stand picking it because like it's so easy to quit. And that's my issue with weightlifting because it's very easy to be like, I don't have to pick that up again. There's nothing compelling me to do that. Whereas if I go out running, like once I start running, it's like, well, I have to run home. So I guess I got to keep going Or like if I'm training and I'm boxing somebody, like you can't stop or they will keep hitting you.
Yeah.
But I just be like, I don't have to lift that. I can just leave it on the floor and
It's
gravity.
good where it's at. It's good.
Yeah, gravity will take care of it if I just don't pick it up again. So
Someone else will
very
re-rack
mentally
it.
difficult. Yeah, it's just not my thing. But I would love to take steroids. Is the short answer to this. They sound great.
I'm waiting for that day where I enjoy lifting. I'm still not there yet. I wish I was that dude. I wish I liked it.
People say this all the time. Like, I never bought it. I was just like, whatever. I'm just gonna go and like do things with no plan. Like, I'm just gonna figure out like a body part to work out and just go.
I know that.
You just need to like set goals. Like once you set goals and you start like getting closer to them, then you get super into it. Like heading into the summer, my goal was to bench 275. Like more than once. That was my goal. That was my goal. I got to 255 and then I got COVID.
Let's go, Mike.
I went back to the gym this week and did bench and I was like, let me see where I'm at. I got 225. I got like 5 or 6. 225. I almost like killed myself. I got twice and I was like, oh my God. And like I arched my back a little too much because like it was way heavier than I remembered it being just because COVID just sucked the life out of me. But now we're going to go back. We should have a full week this week and we'll get back.
Can we get that on camera?
I don't think I'm
just 275. Do it on the Insta. Let us know.
When I get to 270, if I get to that point where I'm comfortable giving it a shot, I will film it. I will film it.
Awesome.
Can we get you to take steroids? Because I'll do them with you. We can do steroids together. Talk about our cycles. It'd be great.
All right.
No.
That one got Casey.
All right, next question.
How many wins away from a title shot is Costa, assuming he wins?
Infinite.
Boy, is he gonna need Alex Pereira to win to beat Adesanya and then win 2 or 3 more title defenses. And then I think he's there. He's not fighting Adesanya again anytime soon. I just don't see it happening.
It depends. Are we talking? I'm going to say if he wins, he is.
And assuming Adesanya is still the champ.
He's 3 fights away because after he wins, he's going to go to the PFL and then he has to win the 2 regular season ones and then the semifinals at light heavyweight. And then he gets to win $1 million because the PFL is where anybody in Costa's exact position should be plying their trade.
Costa should be fighting at heavyweight and light heavyweight in the PFL, and he has a chance to win both of those tournaments.
Yeah.
Do they allow you to do
at the same time? I don't know. No one's tried.
They haven't let anyone do it yet, but I think that's less of a thing they wouldn't allow so much as it just hasn't worked out. But yeah, I would actually bet money that win or lose, Costa's going to the PFL because that's certainly what I'd be doing if I were him. Because he's not getting it. He's a million fights away from a title fight, and he's a great person for the light heavyweight division over in the PFL.
Yeah, I could definitely see PFL opening up the bank accounts. All right. Victor Altamirano is in the octagon.
In the cage.
Oh, shit. I want to throw this up real quick just because,
Huntsucker is a very cool name. It is a very cool name.
I hope he gets a name bonus. I mean,
he was fun. He was fun at the media day when talking about his name. He's a very good sport. And as somebody with a weird last name myself, I get it. It's not Hunsucker. His is worse than mine, but good for him.
I respect that he kept the alliteration going. That he's Triple H. He's Harry Hurricane Hunsucker. Like that's how you do it, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. I got you.
Yes. All right. Let's play the bonus game. Jed, who's winning bonuses tonight?
Fight of the night will go to the main event because I think it's going to be a very competitive fight, and 5-round fights have a huge advantage in that regard.
Wait, are you saying Leon Edwards is going to be an exciting fight? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's still 5 rounds, and I think it's going to be back and forth. It's probably not going to be that exciting, but I do think it's going to be close, and because it's 25 minutes and a big upset happens, they're going to give him fight of the night.
Okay, fair enough.
I will go Luke Rockhold for a performance bonus and Tyson Pedro because that seems like the lowest hanging fruit possible. Actually, I'm going to go Pedro Romanov. Let's do that instead of Rockhold.
I'm going Romanov, Costa, Aldo Merab, fight of the night. Casey.
Performance of the night, Luke Rockhold. Performance of the night, Sean Woodson.
Oh.
Fight of the night, Jose Aldo versus Merab Davashvili.
All right.
I usually say Merab and just stop. I never actually said the full.
That's fine. Just go with Merab. That's okay.
All right, here we go. Main card picks. Is anyone going with Triple H?
Let's do the pre-fight, the headlining prelim. We got to include that one.
All right.
I got Romanov sub round 2.
Me too. Romanov by absolute destruction. 10-8 first round. Finishes him in the second. Casey.
Romanov submission by Kamaru round 1.
All right.
Love it.
Anyone going at Triple H?
Nope.
I'm going Pedro KO round 1. Anyone going anything different than that?
KO round 3.
Wow. That's a bold pick, Casey, because
you need to bet on that.
You should, because all of Hunsucker's fights have ended in the first round, and 9 of Pedro's 11 have. These dudes are going. I've got KO round 1, but I hope you're right, Casey.
Oh, me too. I'm hoping they're so exhausted too by halfway round 2. I just hope
real heavyweight, light heavyweight fight.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Casey, Wu Yanan, Lucy Pudilova.
Going Wu decision.
Same. I think she's just going to be more aggressive than Pudilova.
I think I agree with you in a lot of ways, but I feel like it's going to be super close down the stretch. And if I'm looking for somebody to just dig a little deeper,
very close.
Yeah, when I'm looking for somebody to just dig a little deeper, I think Pudilova has a little more juice in that regard. So I think she's going to win. We're going to Splitty City regardless, but I'll go with Pudilova.
Let me figure out what I can get that for. Splitty.
I'm going with Jose Aldo to defeat Merab Dvalishvili via. I'm just gonna say decision. This could go a number of different ways for me. I don't see a world where Merab finishes Jose Aldo. I see a world where Jose Aldo finishes Merab. I could see anything from a Jose Aldo finishing Merab to a Merab decision to a draw here, but I will go with Jose Aldo to get the decision. He will hang on after a tough third round and get the nod. Jed.
Aldo decision. I think he's going to win cleanly. Merab's just really tough, so I don't see him getting put out of there. And maybe he can take the third, because maybe Aldo will get a little tired and he can score some takedowns. But I think he's mostly going to eat counters for the first 2 rounds and just run headlong into a bunch of shots.
Yep. Casey.
This fight already rules, by the way.
Oh, they're fighting right now? Crap. 9-10, 10-9, 10-8. Jose Aldo. He will win the last 2 rounds, dominate last 2 rounds, but Merab will get the first round because someone has to win one of those fights.
That would be dope.
All right, I got Paulo Costa first round knockout. Jed.
Taking Luke Rockhold, second round TKO. I think he survives the first. He's able to get Costa down or in some way. Oh, damn. Sorry, fights are happening.
You're way ahead of me. Damn it.
Then he beats the hell out of Costa as soon as he gets him down, same way he did to Weidman and Dave Branch and everybody else who's ever been on top of in a fist fight.
Jesus,
Rockhold
so far ahead of me.
Rockhold KO round 1.
Oh. All right. Usman Edwards. You're going with
this
Leon.
Fight
Jed,
rules,
right?
By the way.
Yes.
Flyweights.
Yeah, I'm taking Leon by decision. I think it's gonna be a very competitive fight. The thing that finally swayed me to pick him is Usman is a clinch-based wrestler, and I think Leon has. If Usman could shoot at distance, maybe he'd have a better chance, but I think he's going to have to get inside. And Leon has been really, really good in the clinch lately. I think he's got a little more craft at space. The whole fight will be a sweat on whether Usman just lands one big shot, because occasionally Leon just sort of forgets his defense. But I think he's going to edge 3 rounds to 2. Take a UD that's not a robbery and new.
Casey.
And new Leon Edwards decision.
Man, I'm going Kamaru Usman 49-46, but in a fight that's way closer than the scorecards will indicate. I think it is going to be competitive, but I just think Usman's got too much for him, and I think down the stretch Usman's just gonna clean him out in the final 2 rounds. So this fight is great. We'll let you enjoy the rest of it, and then we'll be back.
Yeah, because this fight rules. If you're not watching fist fights right now, tune in.
Jose is in
really
Salt
fun.
Lake City, so we'll have videos with all the winners and maybe some guest fighters on the MMA Fighting YouTube channel. Great YouTube page. And we'll be back after the event. Press conference, post-fight show, etc. Enjoy the fights, everybody.
And happy birthday, AK. I know you couldn't make it today. He's partying at, I think, Dave & Buster's tonight. But have a great time, AK.
Scotland, yes.
Scotland, yeah. So
The mini D&Bs in Scotland.
I can't wait. I have to go.